live back out here outside Nancy Guthrie's. My name is Troy Bradshaw, but you could call me the Juice. It is day 88 since Nancy Guthrie has gone, since she's been missing. Still no updates, guys. I put it out on X to see if anybody wanted me to come out here today. The kids got practice, so I figured instead of sitting there at the practice, I could sit here and hang out until they get done. And we could hang out and do what we normally do, have a discussion, continue to maybe even ask neighbors if they seen the guy that I've been showing you guys in the video on February 10th when we seen the guy who looked like the perp just walking his dog by with a backpack who seemed to have on the same shoes. Um, Brian Instant just recently sat down, I think, with a former detective, so I wanted to chime in on that and us listen to that. There's some things that he said that I would like to touch up on based on some things that he said. So we'll talk about that right now. But yeah, the topic today is probably going to be Sheriff Nanos because we got something upcoming from him. But we still got a lot of time. We still got a lot of time for Sheriff Nanos. From what I'm hearing, it's May 12th. That's when he'll get that next day in the in that board meeting. Although I don't know what they're going to exactly address or whether or not they'll make a decision. I don't think we'll get a decision. I think that's probably going to lead up to him being voted out. That's just me. But guys, where is Nancy Guthrie? Where is she? We still have absolutely nothing. And today, I feel like we're really at a we really don't have anything. After listening to a few folks, it kind of provokes you to think. We don't have anything. They're still working on tips, according to Brian Inton. He reported that they're still working on. I guess he got some inside tips that the FBI is still working on tips, but as of right now, they don't have anything at all. So we're waiting. We're still waiting. It's a waiting game. Um, as far as Nanos ruining this entire thing or messing up the investigation, I think a lot of us feel like he has. Um, the guy that Brian Intent just sat down with states that he doesn't believe that Nanos isn't doing what he needs to do for the most part. He doesn't believe that Nanos has interfered with the investigation. He said if he did, it would be criminal. But I would say there are certain things that he could be criminalized for. We learned a lot about Nanos in regards to his backgrounds, um, and it just seems like there's been a lot of lies under oath, and many other things piled up on top. So we'll see. We'll see what happens to Nanos real soon here, real soon. I think that's coming. It's just a matter of time. So we got a lot of traffic out here so far. I just got out here, so we're just kind of hanging out right now, and people in the scene enjoying the weather. The weather's really nice out here. The mountains look nice. No really good, beautiful sunset like we had yesterday, but it looks nice out here. It looks really nice. Haven't seen too many neighbors walking by yet. I've been here probably about 10 minutes or so. Didn't really know what I really wanted to do today. I didn't know. I was just undecided, but I think today it was the best time for me to come out here and have a conversation about the case because it's my girlfriend's birthday tomorrow, so I won't be able to come out here tomorrow. So I won't be here Thursday, but I'll try to make it back on Friday. We've been here more than we've been here most of the week, so I don't know what that means, but hopefully we'll get something cracking soon, and hopefully we'll be moving from here somewhere else if we get something here local. Well, hopefully this guy's local, and we hear over here on the police scanner that they got this guy detained, but it's questionable whether or not this person even lives here in Tucson. I don't know if he lives here or not. People would argue that he does, considering a lot of people think that Nancy's in somewhere in this proximity. I think he's had so much time. Even if she was, I think he would have moved her by now. You know, we all believe Nancy was unalived. We think that she's no longer here with us. Considering the blood that we saw on the porch, it just didn't look good leading up to her being alive now. Not only that, we also, for the most part, the main thing we take into consideration is the medication that Nancy was on, right? And then that pacemaker as well. So, hey, but we're still humble. We're still hopeful. We still want Nancy to come home, no matter what the circumstance is, no matter whether or not she's alive or not. That's the goal, you know. It just feels like at this point they're just gonna have to get lucky. You know, is that what it's gonna take for us to get Nancy? If we do find the perp, there's just a lot of questions. If we find the perp, you know, and we question this guy, is he gonna be willing to let everyone know where she's at, or let law enforcement know where she's at? We don't know anything. We just don't know much. And unfortunately, the little information that we have is just not enough to know a lot. So we'll keep on covering, we'll keep on updating, we'll keep doing what we're doing. That car keeps passing by. I don't know why. It's probably like the fourth time they've passed by now. Uh, but I want to chime in on this little interview with Brian Intent. I'll switch the camera around in just a second. We may or may not take a walk today. I know for sure tonight I'll be out here in the dark because, like I said, the kids got practice today, so I'll be waiting for them to get done. They don't get done till 8 o'clock, so it's 5:26. We'll be out here at least 8 hours, 3 hours today. At least 3 hours. I'll probably be gone around 8:30. I'll be good. Don't worry about my safety. No one arrested, guys. No one arrested. No possible suspects. No nothing. Just pure silence. Absolutely nothing, guys. Let's chime in real quick on this interview with Brian Ensign, and I believe he spoke to this guy several times. I think it's Bob something. I know a lot of you guys have watched the video. Brian Ensign is, you know, he's out there. You know, a lot of people know who he is. But I think his name is Bob. He's with the Pima County SWAT. He's a Pima County SWAT commander. Is it Quieger or something like that? I have no idea his name. But he goes by Bob. His last name, I'm not 100% sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. But let's chime in on this real quick. While we're chiming in, I'm gonna move this camera around. I know you guys can kind of see the site. I guess we don't have to. Let's see if I can put my phone in a good place so everybody can kind of hear it. Checking out my show. Really, really appreciate it. Please, from our home here to Nancy's house. Chime in real quick. Let me go up real quick. Have you heard anything new? I mean, everybody's just kind of wondering. It's now been almost 3 months. Yeah. Since Nancy nothing vanished. Yeah, nothing new. I've reached out a few times, you know, kind of knowing, same thing the media's knowing, and that's really what's going on. I think the task force, the investigators are just following up on leads at this point. Anything that's going to be viable, but any. By the way, chat, big welcomes those of you guys tuning in. I didn't even get a chance to look at the chat to say hello to everybody tuning in tonight. I'm gonna switch this camera around real quick, guys, so we can chime in. And yeah, let me turn this around real quick. I know you guys don't like seeing my ugly face, so let me give you guys something better to look at. How about that? I'm kidding. I'm kidding, guys. Don't mind the thumbnail. Criminal Network made it for me. I like it. I'll probably switch it though because it just wasn't big enough. But let's chime in real quick. Oh, I think my internet turned off. Nancy, big welcomes, by the way. Strawberry, welcome. Michelle, welcome back. I just want to say hello to those in the chat just so far here. Venus, welcome. I see you here. Sandra, she says, how do you do call-ins? I don't really have a way right now. I guess I could use WhatsApp if we were gonna do call-ins. That's the only way that I think of right now. Although I don't think I have WhatsApp. Or the best way for me right now to do call-ins would be Discord. I guess that wouldn't be a bad idea today. I've never done call-ins, guys, so I don't know how that would go for me. I guess it would probably go pretty decent. Not doubting myself, but I mean, I don't know how to go about it because I don't. really have a good idea of taking calls, and not everybody has Discord. So, Tony, welcome. Good to see you in the chat, by the way. Sonny, welcome. JLR said he wanted to either go back to Florida or back to Tucson if there's something new. Interesting. Discord is fun, yeah, and it gives us the opportunity to do a group chat too on Discord. Mama, welcome. She says, "Hit that like button, guys." Yes, yes, indeed. Hit that like button if you're just tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel. Hope you guys enjoy it. TS, welcome, TS. Good to see y'all, guys. Good to see y'all. Good evening. Uh, is it Lynn Cornato or Lynn Cornato? I don't know how to pronounce. I'm so bad with these names, guys. Nancy, welcome. Nancy, sweet. Welcome there, sweet. She says, "Don't say that." Sorry, I'm sorry. I won't say that. XOXO, good to see you in the chat, by the way. Kari says, "I watched this interview. It was good." Yeah, it looked like it was a good one. Senna, welcome. Senna, if I said that correctly. She says, "Pay attention to who is driving the car that keeps passing." I will. I'll keep an eye out. I didn't see anything. I just, it didn't look like anything suspicious. Ladybug, welcome, by the way. She says, "We all miss you, Grandma Nancy, with the ribbon to go with it." I like that. Pay attention to what type of vehicle goes by. Says travel. Indeed, I will, guys. Thanks for trying to keep me on my P's and Q's. I appreciate it. I need that. Denise, welcome. Good to see you back. Man, a lot of people tuning in to say hello. I appreciate you guys a lot. Thanks, Lorraine. She says, "Happy birthday to your girl." Man, much love. Hope she has a good birthday. Um, it's been a tight week though, so we'll probably do something on a different day. We won't probably do anything crazy tomorrow. But thank you guys all. It's not my birthday, uh, my girlfriend's birthday. Hey, thanks a lot. Tomorrow it's her birthday. Uh, Tammy says her birthday is tomorrow. Happy early birthday, Tammy, by the way. Man, so if you see Tammy in the chat, make sure y'all tell Tammy a happy birthday. Hey, Violette, I see you back in the chat. Good to see you back. I'm trying to say hello to everybody here in the chat. I won't be able to get everybody. Wow, he's moving. Ooh, now you thought the car speed. What can you tell somebody on a bike, though? Man, you could hear that thing, too. He was doing at least 40, 45 on a bicycle. Sheesh. Happy birthday, Tammy. Hey, thanks for the $10 super chat, Shirley. She says, "Hi, Juice." Big welcomes, Shirley. Hey, Sarah, I see you in the chat, by the way. Haiti, welcome, welcome. Is it Olive Sheep? Welcome, guys. Welcome, welcome. German, welcome. Tanya, good to see you in the chat, guys. Hello to everybody tuning in, guys. I appreciate you guys here in the chat. Thanks for that $2 super chat there. Glad to see you at Nancy, says Rita Pearl. Much love, guys. Much, much love. Let me get my hotspot back on because it turned off as I was saying hello to everybody here. I know I probably missed some folks, so I apologize. Kathleen, welcome, by the way. I think it's Jeanette. I see you. Sue says, Sue's True says, JLR's coming back tomorrow. Would love to see you two together. I know he really respects you. That's what I said. I kind of missed it because the chat went away. But yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have JLR back out here. It would be good to have his company. I know he's good at finding information and kind of beating everybody to the punch. So it would be awesome to see him back out here. I mean, I would love to see him out here. Can't go wrong with some JLR. I think he beat a lot of people to the punch when he was first initially here. When that crime took place, I mean, he was probably one of the first at that raid that took place with Luke. So he's really good at digging up information before a lot of people do. And I think that's one of the great perks that he has, amongst many others. But let me go ahead and get this hotspot on. Will we get it? Is it going to happen? How long will it take? What is next if we don't get any DNA? What's next? How is this case going to get cracked? Is it ever going to get cracked? It seems like as the days keep going by, the more frustration stacks on top. And I say it all the time. Every day is a reminder of failure in this case. One thing before we hear this, guys, I wanted to bring this to you guys' attention that I kind of been thinking about, and it's kind of short. It's not long because I can't think of everything all at once. But you know, Nancy has done her loss, or her, not even her loss, her let's just say her disappearance, because that sounds a lot better than her just being gone. Because you never know, miracles do happen. But one thing I could say about Nancy is she's done a lot for us with the disappearance. You know, it's amazing how losing one person can impact the community in a positive way, not just negatively based on the negative things that have happened, but just think about the impact that Nancy has had on a lot of us in a positive way. We can thank Nancy for bringing light to the sheriff department based on what's going on with Sheriff Nanos. If it wasn't for Nancy, and I just came to mind just now, like if it wasn't for Nancy, Sheriff Nanos would still be there. He's still there now, but we know there's no doubt in my mind. It's just a matter of time. They're gonna get him out of there. It's just I was just thinking about that, guys, and that's like, man, thank you, Nancy, thank you. And there's many other things that we could thank her for, but that's definitely one thing, you know, because that goes a long way. So thank you, Nancy, for making the community a better place. It's unfortunate that it took us losing her or her disappearing, maybe just a temporary amount of time. You never know. But it is definitely going to impact our community in a good way at the end of the day. Right now, maybe not so much, but I can definitely see, that being in the future, So I think that that's something that we could look at in a positive way. Just wanted to bring that to mind. Trump doesn't really have anything to do with this red dog. I agree. I just think he made a slight comment. And by the way, I saw the video with Donald Trump. I think they shot up. What was it the other day? He was just. I think there was supposedly gunshots near the White House. I think they detained some guy or something like that. Not to get off topic, but they had to get down. Um, we'll play that real quick. Allen, the suspect in this weekend shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in Washington, D.C. Good evening to everyone. President Trump, Madam First Lady, on behalf of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So I believe there was some shots fired in the I guess for safety. They were having dinner or whatever they were doing. I have no idea. I really don't follow Donald Trump much. I'm not. I don't have and this is not a conversation to have really. But I really don't have I don't have anything bad to say about Donald Trump. But I know there's many things you guys could all find to say about Donald Trump. That's good or bad. But I don't have anything bad to say about him. But yeah, that's what happened recently though. I guess they were having some dinner, and they were shot at. I believe I didn't hear shots fired in the video though, guys. I really didn't. But from what I heard, there was some shots. You know what amazes me in that video when I see the cameraman, and that's not that's just part of the video, but when I see the cameraman, pretty much like he's standing next to the Secret Service or whoever these guys are with the guns, and he's like sitting there trying to like get the best shots, you know, endangering his life for the best shots is crazy. But I mean, it was an interesting sight to see for sure. But anyway, let's play this clip real quick. Shouts to everybody tuning in. Seeing some Patriot Pride in the chat. I'm not too sure if he's here. Big welcomes, Patriot Pride. I gotta hop on a panel with these guys sooner or later. I was trying to get on with them the other night, but I just time just got behind me, and I just didn't make it. And by the time I wanted to, they were taking their last two calls. So shout out Patriot Pride and go subscribe to that channel. They're a fast growing channel for sure. They're definitely gonna do some damage, and it's well deserved for sure. Um, let's chime in though. Hey, thanks for the $20 super chat, Sandra. She says, thank you for keeping Nancy's name in the case out there. Please keep get Venmo. YouTube takes 30% of your super chats. Yeah, they do. Cash App would be the only thing I have right now. I can't get into Venmo because it has my old phone number, guys, and I don't have access to that. So somehow, some way, I'll have to reach out through customer service to get access. We got a car that just pulled up right now. I think they're just taking some pictures right now. So let's listen to this though.
Knew of her, with her, whether it be like been a robbery assault case early on. No, I wouldn't have expected that from any of them. Oh, the physical evidence, it still takes time. DNA takes time. All of those things take time. So there's still some hope for that. But truly, it'll probably be one of those two things: suspect saying something to the wrong person, that making its way back to the task force, or someone finding Nancy's body. Someone close to something called the Rat Team. Have you heard of that robbery?
Just reporting, yeah, just updating, trying to keep that public awareness up out there, and just trying to dig up any information that we can at this point. Nothing at all. Just still really waiting on the DNA right now. The two DNAs, and then Sheriff Nanos, of course, but he's besides the point. But no leads, no nothing. We've been showing the hair sample that went from Florida to Quantico in Virginia. Yeah, so we're waiting on that. Who knows how long that's going to take? And then we don't know if it's going to be if it's been tested too many times for them to even get any DNA from that. So it just doesn't seem like it's going to go the way we want with that one. But with the mixed DNA, hopefully they're able to unmix it and work that genealogy. But I guess only time will tell at this point. But here we are, set back 11 weeks because Nanos didn't send it to where he should have sent it in the first place. And I had a feeling this was going to happen. I just had a feeling.
Are they still doing their reality show?
They've been talking about that lately. Yeah, I think that was filmed before the actual.
Okay.
But I don't know if they're still going to continue it. But from what I heard, they are. Yeah, so it ain't looking too good right now, guys. It's really not. You mind if I show you guys a video though?
Sure.
Just a quick 20-second video. So there was a guy walking by here, and he looks like the Perp. He's got on the same shoes. It's in black and white, so it's not the best photo. Same shoes. And he's about the same build. It's February 10th. We've asked several neighbors. No neighbors seem to. It looks like just like Tommaso to me, but it's not Tommaso. But we've asked several neighbors. No neighbors are familiar with him. I've been out here many times. I've never seen him walk by. This was by JLR. JLR is a pretty big channel. He was probably one of the first ones out here. But
That's gonna walk like that.
got the duck walk, same exact shoes. Got a backpack on, walking in the neighborhood. I don't know.
That gives me the chills.
Yeah, it's it's definitely a questionable video for sure. Yeah. Be careful with some of the neighbors out here. They get a little antsy when people park, but you guys are fine. I don't think we'll get any of that today. We had some people fighting because somebody came and took a picture, and we was trying to tell him that he was gonna call the police, and I'm like, oh God. You guys, yeah, they do. People have been coming, not as frequently as before, but they still have been coming and bringing flowers. Um, Are you guys from the neighborhood? Not from here? Oh, okay. Yeah, we haven't seen this guy at all. I don't know if it's the guy, but we figured we'd ask around just to see. Um, yeah, that's where we are right now, though. Nothing moving. It feels cold, but it's not. I know they got many tips to work on, but it's frustrating. It's frustrating, especially how the sheriff's represented this Pima County. Yeah, it's sad. I don't think it's the family though. Maybe the family has something to do with it, but I don't think it's Tommaso. I don't know why I don't feel like it's Tommaso anymore, but I used to have that feeling. Yeah, I feel like they went there enough times and did all the work they needed to. Took the car and yeah, we're just at a dead end. It seems like that's where we've been since day one, though. Most interesting to me was they were so eager to give the house back to the family, but no one lives here. They held it for 33 hours because it came a crime scene several times. It, and I don't know what the rush was. I don't know what the rush was, but yeah, so sad, guys. Hey, thank you guys for stopping by and chatting with me. I appreciate it.
Like, thanks for telling us things. This is just, I'm
Yeah,
just
no
so
problem.
sad about
I
it.
know it's a tough situation. It really
Yeah.
is.
Well,
Really
take
is.
it easy. Be
Hey,
safe.
you guys too.
Hi, Mom. Hi.
So they're actually not from the neighborhood, and I always say this, guys. I always make sure to check when you see a permanent tag. Just remember this: if you don't know now, you know. When you see a permanent tag, it's always a rental car. Just assume, because most of the time it is, unless somebody owns their own car fleet and they've got a rental company or some type of company. Always assume when you see a permanent tag, it's a rental vehicle. It's a rental car. I just wanted to share that with y'all because that's a lot of people don't know that. I've been in so many rental cars and people will be like, "Is this your car? Oh my god, it's so nice." No, it's not. It's not, and that's the way you can tell, and it's very easy. But I showed them a video. You guys know we've been interested in this video a lot lately. Hold on. I showed it multiple times. And this guy, like I said, he looks just like the perp, guys. He looks almost identical to the perp. We got to get to that video, though. I want to listen to that Brian Enton video. We had somebody stop by, so they wanted to chat for a moment. A lot of people stopping by to chat, and I like that, though. We had a couple people passing by yesterday to come and talk, so it was nice to see some people come by. I mean, it kind of feels like it's coming back to life all over again. At a moment, it felt like it died down, and now it's just kind of resurfacing all over again. So, see what happens. There's a lot of activity going on in chat, guys. What's up?
Yeah, I did.
Let me get my phone plugged in here. I think it's gonna die, so we don't want that.
And there, because I have this shop.
When I look at the chat real quick, I feel like I'm missing some stuff right now. Hope we're not choppy, guys. If we are, just bear with me. I know it's a real tough signal out here. It's not the easiest place to be signal wise.
So this guy,
I'm trying to see if we're still good. I can't tell. Let me know in chat if we're still good or we've lost connection here.
with all the
I feel like we've lost a little bit of connection here.
he had us lunch.
We're good. All right. All right. We're good. Jilly says, I mostly just listen to everyone's stream and don't chat very often. I'm in quite the funk lately, so chatting is slim to none on my part, but I love listening here so much. Hey, Jilly, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you chiming in to let me know. That means a lot. Everyone is in hopes, just like Barb says. She keeps hoping that there will be a break in the case. I wonder about Richard. We do too. We're all we feel things in the air and then we don't. It just seems like we're we go back. It's like we feel like something's rolling at one moment and then we're back to feeling like, man, nothing's gonna happen. This guy got away. They're not gonna find him, and neither are they gonna, find Nancy. People do still care coffee. Yes, they do, and it's amazing to see because normally things just die quickly, and then people don't come back around. 1174 tuned in right now, man. Big welcome to those of y'all tuning in, man. Shout out to Juice the Chat. Binky Files in the building, man. Welcome, Binky.
This would have been a robbery assault case early on. No, I would have expected that for many of them. You wouldn't have expected them to be called in. No, now they might have. I'm
Hey,
sure
Tony.
that there were robbery assault team folks there helping out, just because of the manpower they had thrown at the case. But the primary investigators, once they determined it wasn't a missing person or a walk away where search and rescue would have handled it, then it's always going to go. A missing person cases in the sheriff's department always goes to the homicide unit. Since I last talked to you, I've been interviewing like all these retired FBI profilers. There's like this behavioral analysis unit, right, where they try to figure out who a suspect is. And I'm kind of curious what you think about some of their theories since you're local. You have an idea of the actual area. Yeah. Most of them have seemed to agree that they think it's someone just statistically who knew Nancy, not necessarily like a family member or a friend, but someone who had some kind of contact with her, whether it be like a contractor or just anybody, but not a total stranger. What do you think about that? They're the experts at that, and I would not disagree with that, especially if multiple profilers have pushed that out. I've always thought it was someone who was focused on her for whatever reason, whether it was they knew her, knew of Savannah, one of those things, but that wouldn't surprise me at all. Do you think, and this is another thing they brought up, that it could not even be a ransom, that could have all just been sort of a cover up? I think so. Do you think that? I do, because when you talk about a single Bitcoin, a half of a Bitcoin, that's not normal for someone who's they're gonna ask for $10 million. That's kind of just how I think that would work, and I think that something happened early on with Nancy, and that was a part of their pivot. Let's throw that out there to try and get these folks off our scent, our trail, or whatever it might be, and just move on from there. What's the latest with the sheriff situation? Because I know the board of commissioners uh, basically demanded he answer these questions. He responded and answered. Is there what happens next there? So it's my understanding that he had 10 days to respond to the answers under oath. It's my understanding that his responses were not a sworn statement. They were not under oath. So in my opinion, he kind of flipped his nose at the board of supervisors. So now they will go on.
So remember when he wrote what he needed to write, although it just seems like, guys, it's not to their liking. Remember, Nanos had to respond to the supervisor's liking, to their satisfactory. And it seems like he didn't do that. So now, well, after that, he kind of asked, well, how do you want it? How do you want me to write this? And I don't think it works that way. So it's looking real bad for Nanos, and we want it to go that way.
The process of the next step is they will have to, vote amongst themselves if they want to attempt to remove him from office. And I don't know the ins and outs of the statute that they're working under, but that would be a decision by the boarders that would say, there's a lot that has gone into this. There's a lot of things that, in my opinion, the sheriff has done wrong, and factually, he has absolutely failed as a leader. He's lied under oath. He has shown through independent investigators that he expects his commanders to violate the code of ethics like he did. That is fact. That's not my opinion. He used his position in government for political gain. Again, not my opinion. That's fact. That was found out. So these are the things that the Board of Supervisors has to take into consideration. And did all of that affect the case with Nancy? I'm sure it did, because that trickle down effect, hearing those things, it's okay to violate the code of ethics. It's okay to use my position to push people down. Heather Lappin and Aaron Cross and a few others who were pushed into positions that really neutered them for the rest of their careers. That affects everyone within the department. So I hope that the Board of Supervisors has the professional courage to do what's right.
Man, it's amazing, guys. I gotta stop it real quick. It's just amazing. I know I said this earlier with Nancy, kind of, being thankful for Nancy because, look, she woke up everybody to what's going on in the with the Pima County Sheriff's Department. I just can't thank Nancy enough because we would have never learned anything about the Pima County based on what's been going on. Now we know exactly what these guys have been dealing with this entire time. Somebody said to do a Alex impersonation. I'm not good at impersonating Alex, guys. I'm really not. Moco check. Orale. Sauce. Sauce.
If you have a man who lied under oath in a deposition, who keep his multiple suspensions back in El Paso out, he didn't misspeak on that. Brian, if I asked you, how many times have you been suspended from your job? What's that answer?
Thankfully, never. Yeah.
Me either.
Yeah.
That's not a question you have to think about. Yeah. That's a question you know the answer to just like that. And I challenge anyone to ask a friend, a neighbor, a coworker, how many times you've been suspended? The answer is usually 0. If the answer is 8 and you say never, that's a flat out lie. That was in a lawsuit. There's no way to come back from that. He should be on a Brady list through our county attorney's office.
What does that mean?
That is a list that the county attorney put together. Typically, it's for lying. Officers get on it, and it kind of neuters them in their positions because every time it's you can't be trusted list. And there have been officers on it in the past, and every time you have to testify, hey, is it true you're on the Brady list? Yes. So it just destroys your credibility. With him, with the sheriff at this point, he has no professional credibility left, in my opinion. That's my opinion.
Hey, Teresa, thanks for the $5 super chat. He says, so glad you're out there. Juice, much love. I appreciate that, Teresa. And also with the $20 super chat there, I wanted to thank you just real quick here. Who was this here? Is it Chrissy? Much love, Chrissy. I appreciate the $20 super chat there.
Going back to the Board of Supervisors, they do need a coworker. How many times have you been suspended? The answer is usually 0. If the answer is 8 and you say never, that's a flat out lie. That was a lawsuit. There is no way to come back from that. He should be on a Brady list through our county attorney's office.
What does that mean?
That is a list that the county attorneys put together. Typically, it's for lying. Officers get on it, and it kind of neuters them in their positions because every time it's you can't be trusted list. And there have been officers on it in the past, and every time you have to testify.
So the reason, and I knew there was some type of list that he would be on, but I'm not former law enforcement, so I wouldn't know. But he said that Nanos would be on a Brady list, and I think he's really saying he would be on this Brady list had he maybe told the truth. But I also think he would have been on that list had he not resigned instead of letting them suspend him. So I think he knew that it would definitely taught his credibility but it would also obviously limit him from being able to move up the chains. So I think he made a smart decision on his behalf to go ahead and step down when he was in El Paso and he got these. He was in the process of being suspended. I think. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, the only reason why he decided to do that because it would obviously not show up on his record, but it seems like to me it still followed him regardless.
Is it true you're on the Brady list? Yes. So it just destroys your credibility. With him, with the sheriff at this point, he has no professional credibility left, in my opinion. That's my opinion. Going back to the Board of Supervisors, they do need to do what's right. Because if they say, we're just going to let this slide, they have now said to every member and every employee within Pima County and every citizen within Pima County, it's okay to lie to us. It's okay to violate the code of ethics. There are no consequences. It's okay to not only ask your senior commanders to also do that, but expect them to do it. And that's why the leadership, this is now my opinion, is in a very bad position within the sheriff's department. And that affects the troops. That affects the people who are investigating this case. It's been like that for quite a while. I think we within the sheriff's department knew it, and that's why several of us stood up for a change at the last election. Saw what happened there. And now the nation, the world now knows what we've been dealing with. And going back roundabout way to that Board of Supervisors question, they have to do what's right. It's not even about politics at this point. You can't let that man stay in power. If you do, you have justified everything he's done, to include factually lying under oath, violating the code of ethics, using his position to influence the last election. So, I'm passionate about that. I know that the county can do better, that the sheriff's department can do better, and I know that the sheriff's department can be safe.
Powerful words from SWAT Commander Bob here, because I mean he couldn't have said it better. You cannot let that man continue to stay in office. I mean, he's absolutely 100% correct. And you heard him. He said the board's going to have to make the right decision. It doesn't matter. Politics don't even matter anymore. Speaking of that, no one's came to Nanos's like rescue. No one's on his side. No one seems to want to vouch for him. Now, I've heard there's a lot of people out there that are Team Nanos, but I mean, it looks bad if you got pretty much the entire sheriff department wanting you out. And I think respectfully, with just considering that alone, he should go ahead and step down. He should respectfully step down. Get out of there. Just respectfully resign.
At some point, because it was an awesome agency for my first 22, 23 years. We loved it. I know you've talked to Aaron Cross, and he feels the same way. That's why he's as passionate about it. And he is the lone voice left in the agency because, really what more can they do to him? And he's going to continue that battle. But can the Board of Supervisors really, because the sheriff is elected, is there anything, and I think it was like if he didn't respond to the questions, there was something they could do, right? But now that he's responded, is there, but he can't just throw him out, can Well, they can, because he was required to respond in a sworn statement and under oath. And again, it's my understanding that he did neither of those. So that would be a violation of the statute that they're working under. So if he violated that statute, they then would have the ability to remove him from office. Again, my understanding from what I've been told. And what about the recall? I know it's still going. I believe it's going to like early July. Are you involved in that? Like, do you collect signatures? I've collected some, and I've advocated for people to collect some and pushed it out there. If you were a Pima County resident who could vote, I've got the form right inside the house. We can sign it right now.
Wow.
But that being said, I think that's a tall task. I know Daniel Gutierrez is pushing it very hard on social media. I know I was out at the fair for a Chevelle concert a couple of nights ago. They were out at the fair collecting signatures. Again, to get over 122,000, so you want to get 125, 130,000. That's a tall task. Is it possible? Yes, because I know there's been recalls in Pima County in the past, but it's been a while, so that's a numbers game, and I have no idea how it's going. Anecdotally, I know that folks within the department have been excited about the number that they've gotten at little league events, at homeowners association meetings and things like that. But you're talking 100, 200 here, and that's a minuscule number when it comes to 120,000.
I think they said we need about 1,000 per day from the day that we've got we got from the day we were able to obviously sign off on Nanos getting out of there as far as the petition goes. Um, but like he said, I've been telling you guys this. It's going to be a tough task considering we need 120,000 signatures. Not only that, he said exactly what I said. We need more than 120,000 because there's going to be people that obviously probably aren't within the Pima County. Uh, and again, I'm a local here. We've got over 500,000 people here, half a million. Um, but that's going to be tough because I don't think within the Pima County we've got half a million though. I don't know how many people we have within the Pima County. That's the question. But it's going to be tough because uh, obviously not everyone's in tune to the case. But it's just going to be tough. I don't know if votes are going to be in our favor. And just like you said, it's going to be. We haven't even got an update on where we're at, where we stand with the numbers. Are we close? Are we not close? That's what I would like to know. We'll probably go down there and do a signature pretty soon. I think if I don't make it this week, we'll go down Friday. If I'm able to record, I'll go live during that time. Maybe not. It's not something that you really need to go live for, so everybody can see. But just so everybody could get an idea of how the process goes. I mean, you heard him. He said that there's signatures that he has a signature right on hand, and he would give one to Brian Inton. If he were local, but he's not. So anyway,
So a lot of people ask me, like even back home, like, "Oh, what's the deal with the sheriff?" Like they hear stories about it, yeah, and they're like, "Do you think?" And they're mostly interested because of the Nancy Guthrie, right? And I always say, I mean, I don't have any reason to believe that he doesn't care about the case. I mean, no, I would agree with want it to be solved. You know what I mean? I don't. Yeah. I think his intentions aren't bad in that way. I agree with that. Yeah. If I know anything else, the man is very emotional and passionate about things. Fault on a lot of situations, but yeah, I would agree. I don't think there's any reason the sheriff's department, the investigators, they're not trying to do anything to keep this from getting solved. There would be that would, and if that were the case, that would be criminal. Yeah, that's one thing. He's got a lot of blame on his shoulders for a lot of other things. Yeah, I don't put where they are in the investigation on his back.
I got to stop Bob right there because Bob, I have to disagree with you on that one there, 100%. Let me let y'all hear that one more time.
Do you think this could have been solved if it wasn't for him? No. Yeah, I don't. That's one thing. He's got a lot of blame on his shoulders for a lot of other things. Yeah, I don't put where they are in the investigation on his back. He brought light to himself in the department by a lot of things that he did and that he said, and I would suspect that there were some hurdles that the
So I agree with him that he brought light to himself. I would have to disagree with Bob in regards to him interfering with the investigation as far as us maybe having a better chance of finding the perp or catching the perp. Yes, we can't really actually say that, but at the same time we can because he set us back 11 weeks now, guys. He set us back 11 weeks with this DNA thing. So had he initially sent it to Quantico in the first place, we wouldn't even be in this position now. So he takes full responsibility for that. I just don't understand how you can be a sheriff for 30 plus years or however long he's been in the police department, 30 plus at least, and do this. I mean, he's already aware. He's got way more knowledge than all of us when it comes to DNA, when it comes to where to send it. He knows, just like we know, he should have sent it to Quantico initially, right off the rip. There shouldn't have been no Florida, there shouldn't have been no Florida whatsoever. He made a huge mistake when he did that, and I don't even know if it was a mistake. It just almost seems like he's purposely trying to prolong this thing, and it almost makes me question whether or not he knows the perp or he has some type of information that we don't in regards to who did it. Why else would you reject help? Why else would you? I don't understand that. Why would you prevent the Cajun Navy? Can anyone give me a good reason why you would stop the Cajun Navy from coming out here and doing a search? good thing the Cajun Navy is still willing to proceed and set everything to the side and act like nothing ever happened. They said that yesterday as Brian Ensign sat down and had an interview with one of these guys that are a member of the Cajun Navy, and he said we just kind of would just start from where we left off and push everything aside and act as if this never happened. And at least they're willing to do that because if I was the Cajun Navy, I'd be highly upset, and I'm surprised that they really didn't speak out and really you know say something about this. It took for us to interview them to really get answers based on what was really going on. But we already know what's going on, and I just don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't know why he decided to go down the road that he did, but he did. We got Amazon guys stopping by here to get some pictures. It's the first time I've seen Amazon stop by and get a couple pictures and just visit the memorial site for a second. Interesting. He must be in the neighborhood a lot. So sad, man. It is. The saddest part about it is at any point in time, like with especially something like this, it should never be about the sheriff whatsoever. It shouldn't we shouldn't have this much attention on a sheriff as we have now. It's really sad the fact that it's been more about Nanos at some point in times throughout this case than it has been about Nancy. And to me, that says a lot about how he's handled this. I am hearing, I have heard rumors, guys. Thanks for bringing that up, Rita Jones. I am hearing that they are going to try to take down the memorial site on Friday. However, I haven't really heard a real source on whether or not that's going to happen or not. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed for now. I'll try to make sure I make an appearance here on Friday. I don't know if I'm going to actually go live Friday, but I believe I will. But I definitely will be passing by. I try to pass by every day just to see if anything changes out here. But as far as I know, they're not going to take it down. But like I said, I don't have a reliable source for that. But we'll find out. We'll find out. Sandra, thanks for the $10 super chat. She says Nano will never let anyone find Nancy before he doesn't. Yeah, and it's like there's that part of me well that makes me think that he just wants to take the credit for this, and that's the reason why he's holding off on all the help. But then I find myself thinking, you know what? This guy knows something. This guy is hiding something. And it's not his resume, it's not his history. He's hiding something that has to do with this case. Because if you're trying to do everything that you can to help the case, you're going to do that. Not only are you going to take it upon yourself, but you're going to show the public that. And most importantly, you're going to show the family that. I said this yesterday. I think if I was the Guthrie family, I would be highly upset. I'd be furious. I would be calling the police department, like, what is this guy doing? Not only that, I think this creates a good opportunity for Savannah or anybody in the family who has the funds to do it. And I don't think it's a lot. It would probably be very costly for them to just hire a private investigator. Maybe get an eye on Nano, see what's going on with Nano, see what he's up to. I would like to go follow him around and see what he does on a daily, just to see. As we learned in the beginning, he's at basketball games, he's at the gym, he's out rolling around in his Corvette looking good. And there's nothing wrong with that, but there is when you've got something that is going on like this. It's problematic for the community because he hasn't done anything and he hasn't showed it either. So something's definitely off. It definitely is, and and then it's just a matter of time before it gets figured out. Sometimes I'm hopeful that maybe we'll find Nancy through Nanos. Maybe there is actually something that he's withholding, and maybe that'll lead us up to an actual suspect. Sometimes I believe the leads that we got in the beginning, the guy that we that was detained outside of Rio Rico, Carlos, and then we detained Luke, and then I believe a couple others were detained along the way. But those two mainly, you know, something tells me that that was just for show. That was just to show, like, you know, I'm doing the necessary work. We're trying. But then you take Luke and you see the swollen hand, and you're like, you know what? Did we miss something? Did we miss our guy? But I think a lot of us went quiet with Luke once he did that interview. You know, of course, it sparked us for a minute, but I would say it helped the situation because Luke wanted to clear his name. It's a tough situation. It's a very tough situation. It's mind-boggling. It's just very hard to really put everything together based on everything that's happened. It's tough. It's tough. Let's chime in on the rest of this interview here. Let me reset this Wi-Fi. I had to see a for a moment there. Yeah, you know, I don't think Alex is coming out today, guys. I spoke to him earlier. It would be nice if he was out here. It's always nice to have some company. Feel a little safer out here, especially in the nighttime. Although I'm not really worried about anything being out here. Got my light, so we're good. Let's chime in on the rest of this interview here.
That might have put some restraints on the investigators, but big picture, no, I don't think him or any other of the command staff really affected where we are in the investigation. Do you think where they are in the investigation is affecting morale? Because I mean, people around the country are like, "Oh, that sheriff's yeah, they messed it up." You know what I mean? Like, right? I do. The morale was in the tank before this happened. Now it's just nationally known where most of the folks in the sheriff's department were. When you see the hundreds of years of experience that walked away, not I was different, I retired, but the hundreds of years of experience that walked away to go work for other agencies, to take demotions, leave here as a sergeant, go somewhere else as a trooper or an officer, just to kind of get away from it, that tells you all you need to know. Because most cops won't leave for 50 cents or $1 an hour. Most officers leave their agency for one reason, and that's leadership. And it's toxic. It is. That's the best way to put it within the department. It is, and it has been, and the folks knew it. And now it's just known nationally, worldwide. With the no confidence vote, like 100% no confidence, I just always think back to like if where I work, everybody voted no confidence in our boss. Is he okay? You okay, Jeff? Or sneezing a little. My dog a little bit. If everybody voted no confidence, it would be kind of awkward at work. Like, absolutely, you have to like talk to your boss and everything, and him knowing that you all vote. Is it like that? I'm sure it is. Yeah. This is not the first time that there's been a no confidence vote for the sheriff. Now, in the past, it was leading up to elections, and everyone now knows, especially with that independent case that came out, what the leadership is like. You know, their you know, their leadership by call it bullying, call it you'll do what I want or your career will go nowhere. When people see that, how could you want to go to work? You know, when you know that you are either limited in your career if you have a free thought, and if you don't, I know support's not the right word because we should all be fighting the same battle. They should be fighting the same battle for the right and wrong of society, for the good, for law and order. But when you know that you absolutely are limited if you don't fall into line, that's the term that they use. Oh, just fall into line and you'll be fine. You'll get promoted then. When falling into line has to do with compromising your integrity and your morals, the big picture wins out. And I think that's why a lot of those folks left the department. I don't know if you saw that Fox Digital actually got these Mike Ruiz. I don't know if you know Mike Ruiz. He's one of the reporters. Actually, yeah, he's a good guy. You know? Yeah, I've done a thing with him. Okay. We'll plan on doing something next week. Okay, great. So he got these emails. Did you see them about the reality show? Like you got like 300 emails. I did read about them. We're talking about the back and forth and the changing of supervisors and that's right. Like that. And that was probably the most interesting thing that they actually said to one of the reality show producers, like, "Oh, we've had some change," and it goes, you know, which stuff you've already been telling us for a while that the top homicide people, cold case, the experienced people were.
So I will be here, guys. I'm seeing a lot in the chat. A lot of people saying the memorial site's going to be down on Friday. A lot of chitter chat about that. I'll be out here on Friday. I'll try to make sure I'm here. Um, I'll be out here. We'll be out here. I won't be out here in the morning, but I'll try to get out here early afternoon just to see if anything happens tomorrow with the memorial site. I'm sorry, not tomorrow. The following day, which will be Friday. So Friday will come out. We'll see if anything happens with that. I'm not sure if they're gonna take it down or not. Like I said, I have no sources on that. I don't know. I'm hoping that they don't. But that's not that we can't find. You know, we can't. We can always build a memorial site for her somewhere else. But yeah, it could be a possibility that the family doesn't want the memorial site here. I wouldn't know why. Why wouldn't they? Maybe just to help the neighborhood out somehow, some way. But we're not doing anything to anybody here, so we're not affecting the neighborhood at all. What are we doing to affect them in a bad way? So I don't know. But everybody has their own opinions on that. I know some people were like, "What are you doing there? You're not. What are you doing to find Nancy? You're not helping at all." I get it. I get it. But like I said, I'm not worried about it. If they do take it down, they take it down. Um, but like I said, I haven't heard anything at all. So as of right now, I would say it's still going to stand.
Were moved out. Right. But it's kind of interesting that that's now in these emails from even before the Nancy Guthrie. Exactly. And again, this goes to kind of the narrative that this isn't new. Most of the folks within the sheriff's department and quite honestly locally knew this was going on. If you look at the numbers of the last election, for Heather Lappin to only lose by 481 votes, it should have been 30 or 40,000. So there was a big shift of what's going on? A big shift of voters even in the last election. And now I've heard, again, anecdotally, Supervisor Hines has talked about it. People were like, wow, I just didn't know. And I will never blame the voters because a lot of people just vote their party lines. That's just how it is. You don't have the time, you don't have the effort to really get involved in each individual election. But I think when it comes to sheriff, because it is law enforcement, that affects everybody. Unfortunately, the morale, the things that are going on now that are very visible to be going on now have been going on for the last 6 years. Um, you know, 5 and then his 2 previous. When did you retire again? About 4 months ago, January. So it's really recent. Yeah, January. So you were under him for. Oh yeah, yeah. For 2 years, then he lost, and then the next 5. And were you over the SWAT team at the end when you retired? My first assignment when I was promoted to lieutenant was I was the SWAT commander for about 8 months. Yeah. And then I was removed from that. He loves the. I let you be promoted, so why was there a problem? And then I had a myriad of assignments that were very chosen for me. We'll say. Is that because were you vocal about issues with him, or? I just would stand up. I've always stood up for the little guy. I always stood up for the little guy, and I did support Heather Lappin in the election, but very professionally. And you have to understand if you're going to run for office, when you're running for basically a popularity contest, you're not going to get 100% support, and that's okay. It's to be expected. I would have no problem saying I supported Heather. Those of us that did were kind of pushed aside. There weren't many who stood up for it. There were others who were behind the scenes, kind of low key supportive, and there was a lot of that. But they knew they couldn't because they weren't at 25, 30 years of their career. They knew they had another 5 or 10 years. And if they're even at a sergeant level, they know if they want to become a lieutenant or.
So he's kind of talking about his career. I'll kind of skip through that, but I also question whether or not, I question why they went down to 4 detectives, because remember, we had many people on this investigation, a lot unexperienced, and then we had, very few that were very experienced. And, in the beginning, we had the main person that was supervising the investigation in the beginning, he was not experienced. He only had 2 years under his belt. And most people who have a law enforcement background, would say that you would need at least 3 or 4 under your belt before you even feel comfortable doing what this guy did. So I mean, it's that's one thing in itself. We could start there with Nanos. You know, that's one iffy thing in itself. Why would you put an inexperienced detective on a crime like this? Maybe, perhaps, but he stayed on the thing for they said about 30 plus days. So and you would only think at some point in time they would have switched, made that change relatively quick. But no, he sat on this as long as he could. Well, not as long as he could, as long as they let him. But from what I heard, he was very stressful in the beginning. Everything was a rush. There was a demand that they hurry up and finish up the crime scene and get the house back to the family. No one lives here. No one even lives here. That's the best part about this, is the fact that no one lives here. In regards to them, you know, spending as much time that they needed to get any little bit of information inside of that house that they possibly could. So it's just crazy how everything went down in the beginning. Um, Fast forward, we have many people working on it, and then we got the 4-man group of detectives, and obviously there's one leading the way who's a supervisor who is in charge out of the four, and I think out of the four they said maybe one of them's an FBI agent. I can't recall. Um, but I think that the more the better, that way they could tackle a lot more things at once. But it seems like as the days have gone by, they have less to tackle, considering it's a waiting game with the DNA, and then they only have the tips. So I think they're just right now, I feel like they're just waiting on a call, because that's what happens a lot of times. They get lucky and somebody reaches out that knows the suspect, or it's somebody that was here that night with the perp, and they just something just struck them. They finally decided to reach out, but it just hasn't happened. It's just been silent from everyone, just not only the perp but the FBI. They've been silent. We haven't heard anything at all. But remember that time, when we had all the people working, and then they narrowed it down to the 4-man group. The rest of the agents were told to finish what they were doing and go back to what they were doing. But we know that expertise is key in this. The more experience, the better. That's the most important in this case when it comes to these investigators. I think initially they were going door to door because they believed that Nancy was somewhere near in the neighborhood. I think they had interest in seeing whether or not she was close. So I think that's why they wanted to kind of question neighbors. But not only that, obviously they wanted to see if they were able to maybe get any footage, see if anybody saw anything. But I think that there were some doubts that Nancy could be somewhere in this neighborhood, amongst the FBI. So it was just crazy how everything unfolded. Um, then you talk about the Wi-Fi jammer. I don't believe the Wi-Fi jammer though. The Wi-Fi jammer is just something in the way of the case to me. And that's just how I feel about the ransom. I just feel like the ransom was either to buy more time, or it was just something that came about that someone else threw out there that had nothing to do with the case. Um, it would be nice to get an update on the camera that they retrieved in the back that they said that Nancy used for wildlife. Remember, there was a camera that we saw the FBI is looking at, in the very back of her house. I think it looked like it was kind of aiming toward the pool area. I don't know exactly where that camera was placed, because I think by the time we saw it, they had already taken it down. But it would be nice to know whether or not, I'm assuming at this point, we're 88 days in, that they weren't able to get anything off of that camera, because that was the one camera that they took, guys, from what I heard. So, I mean, obviously they weren't able to get anything. I'm just going to assume at this point they couldn't get anything from that camera. So it's just been a really, really mind-boggling case. And it's hard not to be obsessed with this case because of what's going on. It's just mind blowing. Was it not a camera that they got? I thought it was a camera that they retrieved back there. Maybe it wasn't. So J. Mary says it wasn't a camera in the back of the house. It was it was on Nancy's door, and they did it, and they did get it. It was for wildlife. So it wasn't on the top. It was on her back door. I don't know exactly what they retrieved back there, but I know they were on that roof for quite some time. We saw them on the roof. Don't quote me on it because I don't know if they. I'm not 100% sure if they took a camera. That was word that I got that they took the camera from the top of the back of the house, but I don't know. I'm not sure what they got. It was a trail camera. Well, I guess that's the same difference, right? I mean, well, a trail camera would know that's not the same difference. So, because Lauren had a trail camera, remember she had the trail camera on that tree over there next to the memorial site. So that would change things a bit. So why weren't they able to get anything from that? Interesting. And maybe they have, and they just didn't. That was something that they from the public, you know. But
And
that's crazy to me.
you know, you go back to the Lindbergh baby. I imagine back in the 20s, 30s when that happened, there was no internet, but it was very high profile. Yeah. You know, so some of that statue,
People are confused.
the nation worldwide eye.
Maybe they didn't get a camera because it hasn't been brought up. I haven't heard anything about it, so maybe they did not get a camera.
There's not a magic pill though.
I don't even know for sure if it was if it was a trail camera, but if it was, I feel like that would change a lot because I think that obviously they should be able to do something with that. I recall, you know, these places like the FBI labs or wherever they work to do a lot of their work besides the labs. I recall these guys being able to get into these devices and somehow going back on these cameras to view the history, you know. But I guess not. I don't know. But maybe that's only what happens in movies. Maybe that's not realistic.
So we can get that for the victim, for the victim's family, get that closure that they want. I mean, we see the whole beach killer, things like that that went on for decades.
I want to actually Google that, guys, because I don't know if there was a camera exactly or was what was actually back there that the FBI retrieved. Some people, some lady stopped by yesterday and she said that they were digging at one point in time, and then she mentioned that uh, Nancy's husband worked for the mines. And then she also went on to say that he, you know, made jewelry or made gold or something like that, but I don't know if that's true or not.
To the case that they're looking at, but it's something important for another piece. Yeah. I mean, do you think the sheriff they should engage them? It can't hurt.
Hey, much love for the $10 super chat. Valerie, she says, thanks so much for keeping Nancy's case alive. We appreciate you, Juice. Stay safe out there. Much love to you, man. Much love from me to you, Valerie. Thanks a lot.
Literally impossible. It would take thousands of
Drone footage has them removing the camera. I know we had a lot of drones up, but if Google states that Nancy had an additional camera on her property on the front door, including in the back near the pool and on the side yard. The FBI recovered the thumbnail images from these cameras, which were triggered by motion, and I'm assuming they're talking about the doorbell camera in the front, not the back. Although they were not able to get the full video recordings and did not show anything suspicious during the abduction time frame. So there's backyard images, the recovered images, which were motion activated thumbnails rather than continuous videos, were from cameras trained on the swimming pool and backyard.
I think the same reason. I don't think the same reason why the F.
Let me read that again.
We don't think.
The recovered images, which were motion activated thumbnails rather than continuous videos, were from cameras trained on the swimming pool and the backyard.
The Arizona Sheriff's Association, which is all the sheriffs, you know, those are the things that, you know, you create those relationships. So when you need help, you reach out to them, man. Hey, I need bodies, I need information.
So It looks like they were able to recover some type of images, but it doesn't really state whether or not they were able to recover cameras. It doesn't specifically say that. But this was a 6 week after her disappearance on February 1st.
Anything else you think is important where we're at with Guthrie? Patience, patience for the media, for the public. I'll keep saying it might be years. It is unfortunate, but
No, but the dog was very similar. Me and Criminal Network spoke to him yesterday. He's a younger guy. He does look very similar to the guy that was walking by. I said this yesterday, guys, but no, that's not the same person. That dog looks very similar though, but it's not, guys. It's not. I was checking him out yesterday, and I thought the same thing that you guys did in the chat. But that dog does look like the guy that we see in that video for sure. Yeah, so the interview we're listening to right now, a second ago, was from Brian into today, which was about 4 hours ago from now. Yeah, not everybody that walks by is a perp. I agree. Yeah, I had the video on, guys. I didn't think you guys could hear it. It was pretty low, so my apology. I honestly had it playing so that way I don't lose my hotspot signal. My apologies. Kim says, yeah, if she didn't pay for the subscription, I think I missed it. If she didn't pay for the subscription for the cameras, will every save or record? From what I heard, and I think Monk brought this up in the interview room, he said that there was a reason why. I can't remember specifically what he stated, but there was a reason why they weren't able to get the entire video. He was saying that there was a specific reason why they were only able to get that piece. So I don't know if that's true or not, but he was pretty much saying that they don't have any other part of the video. Otherwise, that would have been released to the public as well. Victoria, I see you in the chat, by the way. I don't know if for those anyone else that can see you or not, but I see you in the chat. Annie took the pink bat. Was that in the house? Pug Mommy says AZ is heating up. In 10 days, it will be 101. Yeah, it gets hot out here. It really does. We get higher than that on top of humidity. So it does get pretty ugly out here. Pug Mommy says, I like Juice out there because he moves the camera. Yeah, I try to move it. I try to give you guys little views here and there. Yeah, I try. So, anyways, whatever that means, guys, I don't know. As far as the camera situation goes, I'll try to get a little bit more information, but I don't really see much on whether or not they took an actual camera. I'm not seeing anything about a trail camera though. They didn't really say that, or they didn't really specifically say what type of camera it was. Trying to look it up, see if we can find any more information. Yeah, at. No really insights on there being a back camera at all. Well, not being a back camera, whether or not what type of camera it was or where it was placed. So I think what we might have overheard might have been speculation. It might have not been valid information. But even without an active subscription plan, the camera recorded and it uploaded data to the cloud, and that allowed the officials to recover footage from I think they call it residual data in the back. It's a back end system that they use. I am former LEO crime scenes. Man, give us some insights, man. Tell us some more. Tell us what you know. Tell us what you think, if that's the case. Melissa says literally everything we hear is speculation. They can't blame us for that or the YouTubers out there. Yeah, I try to base a lot of the things that I cover and talk about off logic and fact, though. I try not to. Of course, I give my own speculation and I share other people's thoughts. But I don't try to just throw things out there that I'm not too sure of. That's why I let you guys know, like, don't quote me on it. I'm not 100% sure if this is true, because there's just been too many things just thrown out there that we don't know are 100% true. So it's tough. Hit that like button. Thank you, Jennifer, for saying that. You just reminded me. Yes, guys, hit that like button. We are about 47 away from 1,000 likes. So thank you guys all for tuning in. Thanks for those who subscribed to the channel today. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, guys. Can't believe we got this many people tuned in right now, though. It's insane. So I'll finish up the rest of this video. It's only about 8 minutes left. I don't know what else they're really gonna say because I haven't really listened to the whole entire video. But I thought that I would share that with you guys because I think he had some really good insights as far as what Commander Bob had to say. And shout out Brian Ensign, man. He's been doing a lot of good work, obviously.
Someone, arrest someone, and then get them convicted. So you're always thinking about. There's not a magic pill, though. There's not just something that says, "Hey, let's solve it today." And that's just how it goes. The guys and gals who are investigating can only do so much, and beyond that, you also have to think with what they're doing. It has to be done the right way. It has to be, all their search warrants and follow up and questioning, because ultimately their goal is still to find someone, arrest someone, and then get them convicted. So you're always thinking about that as you're doing your investigation. Whether it's now or whether it's in 5 or 10 years from now, we need to do this the right way so we can get that for the victim, for the victim's family, get that closure that they want. I mean, we see it. Look at the Bilbo Beach killer, things like that went on for decades. The Garden State Killer,
Cotton Coast, welcome.
things that you have to do things the right way, because ultimately those families deserve that closure, and you want to make sure you're doing it the right way leading up to that.
Indeed.
I interviewed the United Cajun Navy yesterday. You remember they wanted to come and search, and they put together a proposal. There was really no response from the sheriff, and now they're going to do a different proposal. And what do you think about that? Because they're
Wow. So word, you heard it here. Brian Enton says, well, they did reach out to the sheriff. Remember, the sheriff told the Cajun Navy that he didn't want their help. He told them no. At first, he postponed them, like, no, wait, I'll get back to you guys. Never got back to him. Never said anything. And I think that led up to that proposal. But anyway, it looks like they're going to do another proposal to the sheriff department to try to come out here and search. So we might see the Cajun Navy department coming out here and actually doing a search for once. my question would be, is it too late? Because they were here trying to do search earlier in the investigation. So leading up to now, what would that do for us? You know, and I understand that they could possibly stumble across another case, which I'm hopeful of that too. But what will this change due to the fact that they're going to be out here a lot later than they, you know, because they could have been out here a long time ago. So I hope that it's very helpful. But the one thing that I would like from the Cajun Navy, and I know this is not going to get back to them, but the one thing that I would like from them is for them to go and search Rose Canyon Lake. Get a scuba diver and go right over to Rose Canyon Lake and go down there just to check. I get it. We know we might have a guy by the name of Richard Nolette that's trolling and he just wants money. But at the same time, why would you reach out and say the things that he said, you know, in hopes for a reward? You know, you got to have logical information if you're going to get the reward, right? And just get the reward off false information. So there is a possibility that he could perhaps maybe be telling the truth. And I'm not saying that he is, but I mean, just to check and we kill this thing about him, that will put this to bed. We won't even have to worry about it anymore. We won't even have to think about it. It won't even be a conversation. But I would only hope that the Cajun Navy goes, you know, beyond, you know, Rose Canyon Lake and beyond this neighborhood, because I don't know how far they go and search, how long they search. You know, I don't know how they do their searches at all.
All those things that, you have to do things
Somebody was asking if you could see the guest house from here, by the way. Yes, you can. We'll walk over there in a second.
the right way, because ultimately those families they deserve that closure, and you want to make sure you're doing it the right way leading up to that. I interviewed the United Cajun Navy yesterday. You remember they wanted to come and search, and they put together a proposal. There was really no response from the sheriff, and now they're going to do a different proposal. And what do you think about that? Because their whole thing is like, we just want permission, and we'll go out in the desert. Yeah. And he actually told me yesterday, most of their cases they end up finding things unrelated to the case that they're looking for, but it's something important for another case. Yeah. I mean, do you think the sheriff they should engage them? It can't hurt. Now, I don't know the ins and outs of them exactly how they work, but the more eyes out there, someone had asked me recently about, okay, when do we start a grid search of the desert? You don't. That is literally impossible. It would take thousands of people, thousands of years to just search the desert. To do like a 10 by 10 block, that's going to take minutes, so just to get them out there, and if they want to put together a protocol for, how they're going to do it, where they're going to search, have at it, man. The more eyes, the more people looking into it, it keeps it at the forefront. And like you said, they're going to find something. I guarantee if they go out in the desert, they're going to find a body, or two, or three, or 10. It's just the nature of the desert. And so it's going to either solve another case, it's going to get closure for a family in Mexico or Guatemala who lost a loved one coming. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they haven't at least had like a meeting with them? Probably ego. It all goes back to, I think the same reason. I don't think the same reason why the FBI was pushed off early on. Hey, we're the sheriff's department. We can do this ourselves. We don't need anybody's help. If you see the way that the sheriff leads, he has very poor relationships with most local law enforcement agencies, horrible relationships with the feds. He's not active in the Arizona Sheriff's Association, which is all the sheriffs. Those are the things that, you create those relationships. So when you need help, you reach out to him, man. Hey, I need bodies. I need information. And he has compartmentalized the sheriff's department so much that it's to the point of inbreeding now. Even training, it's tough to get out of the agency for. Oh, we can do this ourselves. We can do this in house, and that's just not how agencies organically grow. And it really is. If you guys know, it's very compartmentalized, and I do think it goes down just flat out. This is my county. This is my people. I don't need help. I think that's why
Yeah.
we are where we are. Anything else you think is important with where we're at with Guthrie? Patience. patience for the media, for the public. I'll keep saying it might be years, and it's unfortunate, but you know, trusting the process, trusting that the folks on the ground are doing a great job, and they are. They're working their butts off. They're trying to do what they can do to uh, follow up on leads, and use those resources. You know, didn't want to use the FBI lab. You didn't want to use the FBI investigators. Ultimately, you did, and you see it happens. It's happened several times in this case. I won't do this. 2-3 weeks later, maybe that was a good idea. Yeah, it was probably they sent the hair to the FBI. Yeah. It was probably a good idea the first time, and you can't. There's only one thing that matters. It's finding Nancy and getting justice for the family. It doesn't matter who gets that, whether it's the Cajun Navy, the FBI, ATF, an alien crashing and finding her. It doesn't matter. However we get there, however they get there, that's what's most important. So. Thank you, Bob. Good to see you. Nice to meet the dogs. Yeah, exactly. And also, I couldn't leave without showing them the tortoise. There you go. Yeah. All kinds of craziness out here in the desert. Yeah.
So this has nothing to do with why I came to your house, but show me. You actually have? Is it a tortoise?
It's a desert tortoise. Yeah, it's a Sonoran desert tortoise.
Man, it's looking large.
He's the second one I've got. He's probably about 25 years.
He's more.
Yeah.
Turtles over there, man. Commander Bob living life over there, isn't he? Anyways, guys, yeah. So that was Commander Bob. He had a interview with Brian Intent. A lot of rabbits out here today. Kind of interesting. I don't really see that many rabbits roaming around out here. Yeah, it's a lot of movement activity going on from the wildlife out here. Still, at all the times that I've been here, I haven't seen a snake at all. A lot of people keep talking about the snakes, but I've yet to see a snake at all. Before we lose any light, we'll hop up real quick. There's no sunset at all, guys. There's no sunset, so unfortunately, we won't get to see that. I'm gonna go ahead and let me get my chat pulled up here on the other phone here because I feel like with me moving, we're taking a chance of me losing you guys. So I'm gonna try not to, lose y'all in the process here, but I do like to get different views when I'm out here. So I'm gonna ask to see if we could see the guest house from here. We can. So we'll walk right here and take a good look. I'll get a nice little setup of the guest house. So you see that window back there? So there's a window back there. That's the guest house. And as you can see, that if you've seen many videos of the house, which I'm sure you have, you can see the garage. There's the garage. And if you know and you've seen Nancy's home, you know that the garage separates. That's where the house separates, and then you see the guest house. So the guest house is not connected to Nancy's. It's separate completely, and that's normally how guest house are. Look at that. Got a lot of little birds out here too. I don't know if those look like road runners to me, but they're not. There's a lot of animals out here today. So that is the guest house, though, guys. I don't really know what those things are in the back, the brown things there on the guest house. I'm assuming that those are like some type of, I don't know, maybe like a storage little unit back there. I'm not 100% sure what that is exactly. But there it is. That's the guest house there. Since we'll be here during the night, we'll see if we hear any weird noises. I hear weird noises. Well, I heard a weird noise one night that I was here. It sounded like it was coming from that camera. I know you guys can see that camera up there. There is a camera. There was a light, like a blue light. It appeared to me to be, but then it also appeared to be a white light. But to me, it was blue. It was a blue light, and it was coming from that area. and then I was hearing something speak, and I don't know if it was a security camera that's there, or it was somebody fooling around with me making weird noises. But it almost sounded like somebody was speaking. I think normally when you have a security system and it'll say something, it'll say, it'll repeat the same thing. And I couldn't make out what it was saying if it was that. So, it's hard to say what it was exactly. But I'm leaning in the camera. I'm leaning in that direction, and I'm leaning in the direction that it was, the camera making the sound. But it was just weird to me because it was different. This, how you when you hear something, you kind of listen to see how long you hear it too, or you remember how long you hear it. And every time I heard it, either it was a shorter time that I heard it, or it was going off a little bit longer. So I don't know what that was tonight, but if you want to check that video out, I did do a video of the night that I was hearing the weird noises. So we'll see if we hear any tonight. I haven't heard any since then. And I don't know if these are the type of cameras where you could speak to somebody like you can through a Nest camera. But and I don't see any light appearing on that camera, so I can't really say that it was the camera that night. But it did appear to me that it was coming from that area. Someone said it sounded like a little girl. Yeah, I did hear like a scream or like a little girl. That's not what I was hearing though at that time. But we did hear that too, which was odd. But right where that camera is at, guys, that is the guest house right there for those that wanted to see where that was. But I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with the guest house. Just love sitting here. I love sitting here in silence and just listening to all of the beautiful sounds of the birds and whatever else we hear. I don't really know what some of those sounds. What is that sound we hear? That what is that exactly? Is that some type of bird? Connie says I saw Sloop there fishing with like a hook or something. Yeah, he put a camera in the water, I believe, and I think he put it on the fishing pole that he had. I think he was also trying to make it look like he was fishing. I'm not too sure though, but I mean, he did put a camera on the fishing pole, I believe. I'm not 100% sure on that either, but I would only assume because I don't know what they would have that you could put in water. That's kind of like a drone, but it's meant for water. I don't know if they have those. I'm sure they do have something like that, but I'm not too sure. Rolling Stone said it sounded like a robot that night. We heard sounds. Yeah, it did. It sounded like something robotic for sure. That's why I said maybe it was the camera. Maybe it was that camera, guys. We'll see if we hear any weird noises tonight. That's what I'm gonna be listening for tonight. You never know what that could be though. You just never know. This is the memorial site, a close, nice look up of the memorial site. This is pretty much what's all left of it. There's a couple other things that are here too, just behind us. But you got some flowers over here just to the left of a memorial site, and obviously the memorial site continues on this left end, as you guys saw a second ago. Still looks really beautiful to me. I mean, it's a very meaningful area for sure. Not just considering the what happened in the home, but leading up to this, it's still a nice site. Although there were more flowers here, but um, as time went on, a lot of them died, and Lauren came and rearranged the place. Speaking of Lauren, guys, I have not seen Lauren. in about a couple weeks. So I don't know why Lauren is no longer coming here anymore, or not coming here, or hasn't been here. Not no longer coming here, because he may show up today for all we know. They usually come around this time though. So I'm surprised we haven't seen Lauren. But if you guys notice, we haven't seen her. Somebody said she thinks she has surgery. Ah. Tunnel under guest house. Tommaso seen coming back from the guest house. Yeah, he did, and he came to show them something, and I'm not too sure what it was. I find it interesting, guys, that Tommaso knows the place as well as he does. Because when we saw him that day, he was sketching around the place as if he knew the place very, very well. And I get it. Him and Annie have probably been together for quite some time, but I don't know if I ever, even visiting a wife's mom's house, I don't know if I ever would feel comfortable to really know every single place in the house or know every little thing about the house. And it seems like he has that knowledge of the house. And I could be wrong, but and I'm sure there's been many moments where Tommaso came and helped Nancy out with certain things, but I don't know. I guess it's not that hard to learn the layout of the home, even not even going inside of the home. But I feel like, I mean, there's always that one place you don't spend time in a house when you're at someone's home that's not yours. But for all I know, they could have lived here at one point in time, and that would have, obviously gave him more opportunity to get to know the place. But if it's somewhere you're visiting, you usually don't like know every ins and out of a home. You usually don't go in every single room, or but she did live alone, so I don't know. She is not coming there no more. She posted why. Wow. Anybody know the reason why Lauren no longer comes here anymore then, if that's the case? Blue Cat Skill says, I know all of my ex's parents' cribs like it's my own. Interesting. Like for me, I know my girlfriend's mom's house pretty well, but I don't like go scavenging around the home. Like I wouldn't know where secret things are that I shouldn't know about. Like I wouldn't know, every detail is what I mean. I might know what every single room is, but I don't know every single detail, like, as far as certain things in the home. And then most of us don't have family members who have homes this size. So I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, or maybe I'm just thinking about how I am when I'm at somebody's house. Um, Especially knowing them for a period of time. I guess it's not really much of an interest to me unless I'm, invited to go in places in the home. But for me, I wouldn't just, be all around the house. I guess I just never really been that comfortable in somebody's home to just kind of do whatever I want, unless I live there, maybe. But even then, yeah. So Lauren is somebody who would come and rearrange the memorial site. She claimed to be a friend of Nancy's, but I don't even know if she's really a friend or not. Those are really, really beautiful flowers right there. I like the orange on those ones right there. Wow. I like those. Those ones really stand out to me the most. Juice, why do you think this happened to Nancy? Well, I have two reasons why I think it happened to Nancy. I can't wrap my finger around it. And like I said, my theories can change in time. But one of my reasons would be I think either it was for money, and, because I go back and forth. The other one would be pain. Um, if you ask me which one I think more, I would say pain, just because of the way that it was handled in the beginning. I just don't really think that it would be for money. I don't think somebody smart, because at this point in time, I think we could all agree that this perp is somewhat smart, if not very smart. And with that being said, I just truly think that they would have went about the ransom a lot smarter, if that had been the case. So I'm not really leaning in the direction that you know it was for money. Because if somebody was trying to get money, they wouldn't have got authorities involved, and I don't think they would have went through the media as well. I think they would have reached out to Savannah, and I think that would have been through social media if they didn't have her direct contact. When I think about it, I empathize and I try to put myself there and question my own self on whether or not what would I do? How would I have handled it? That's one of the things that I would have done if I were to be in this situation. I can't really speak for everyone else. But personally, for me, I would have definitely reached out to the family first. I wouldn't have reached out to TMZ or NBC. I wouldn't have done that. I don't get that. And the only thing that tells me why they would have did that was for attention and pain. You can't get in the water at Rose Canyon Lake, uh, says Connie. From what I heard, you are not allowed to get in the water and swim. Um, you can fish. I know that because Sleuth was obviously fishing there. But from what I have heard, you cannot, swim. But there are other lakes on Mount Lemon that you can. But I think Rose Canyon is one that's just not one of them. Rose Canyon Lake is about 7,000 feet up on Mount Lemon. Mount Lemon goes to 10,000 feet. I'm looking it up just to confirm because the last time I read about Rose Canyon Lake, it stated that it was 7,000 feet up. And I would only assume that because it takes about an hour and a half to drive all the way up Mount Lemon, especially from here to Nancy's. But I think that's what I read the last time I looked it up, as far as Rose Canyon Lake. Yeah, it states that it's a lake on Mount Lemon. It's located an elevation of approximately 7,000 feet, and it's about 2,100 meters above sea level. States that it's situated near mile marker 17.1 on Mount Lemon Highway, offering a high elevation alpine setting featuring blah, 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 blah. It is considered a small lake, but it's a fairly good sized lake. There are fishing regulations and cost, and there are hiking trails around Rose Canyon. And then they also have camping and picnic campgrounds. So they got that in that area, if not around the actual lake. But I got to be honest, if Nancy's not in Mexico and she's nowhere near in the proximity, I would only, I would, that's what kind of makes me not want to overlook this because I think that there's a big possibility that she could be in Rose Canyon Lake. When he brought that up, I'm like, whoa, that's a good place to take a body. And then when he mentioned the fact that they were weighted down, I'm like, you know what? This might be something. Like, let's just not look past this because this guy's making sense. I would like to know, and this is why I kind of wanted Brian Enton to look into it a little bit because he has the insights and he has, he's got that leeway when it comes to being able to talk to former investigators, even current investigators. So it would be nice to know certain things, and he doesn't even have to be pertaining to Richard. But just put that suggestion out there, or put that out there that just the question whether or not what would happen if a body was weighted down. Just perhaps whether or not Nancy was thrown in water. If she was thrown in water and weighted down, how would that, how does that play out? Does the body still come back up somehow, some way? Not the body, but pieces of the body. Do they, deteriorate over time? But then when you add bags into the factor and say that she's down there in bags and those bags are weighted down, the first thing that comes to mind is these bags aren't coming back up. So while we're right here, I'll point something out just real quick. I'll move over just a bit here. So this is where obviously where the suspect was at when he was caught on that Ring camera. There's still, I think there's still that piece there. That's did we get a Ring camera? Is that a Ring camera? Did they put a Ring camera up? Why does that look like a Ring camera from here? Wow. At first, it was just a bracket with the Ring camera missing, but it looks like it appears to me that there's a Ring camera there. Oh no. Oh yeah. Well, good. But I mean, I never saw that until today. Did anybody notice that? When did they replace that? No javelinas. I haven't seen any javelinas. Thanks for asking. Though, is it lore? I think it was there before Mark left, if I remember correctly. Interesting. I'd never seen the Ring camera until now. Every time I've looked at the door, I always remember seeing the bracket that was removed from. Interesting. So we know that the perp was at this front door. But one thing I've been pointing out is the steps. Wow, you know what's crazy? Yeah, he definitely staged this. I'm starting to realize this. Hold on, guys. I got to see this again. We got to really look at this here because I really never thought about this. But oh, I think you can walk right there. So you see the flower pot right where my hand is at? Right there, right on my fingertip, right at the tip of my finger, flower pot. Well, right behind it, over that hump behind the flower pot there, there's kind of like dirt behind it. And when you see that, when you watch the perp in the video, it almost looks like he's coming from the right side over here, which I think he is. He doesn't walk up the steps when he walks up to the door. So I almost thought that I almost thought that there was no walkway there. So I'm like, how did he come from that right side if there's nothing there? I can't see. Let me take a look for myself real quick. It's hard to see. Yeah, so there is dirt there and it does go into the driveway, it looks like. I can't tell. Let me just take a quick look. Yeah, so it goes into the driveway. So never mind. I thought there was a bunch of rocks and flower pots and everything else that prevents you from walking through dirt. But there is some dirt. There is some dirt there, so you can actually walk from behind that flower pot all the way to the driveway. And I think that's where he came from. To me, I think he came from the back, or he came from somewhere on this right side. But this is what I was talking about with the step, because there's a step on the door. See if we can get a better look at that. So there's that step right there on the door, and I think it's very hard to get his height because he's down that step a good amount of time in the video, but he's also at the door messing with the Ring camera, doing whatever he's doing with the strub. but it's very tough to get the actual height because when he's walking away, he's leaning to the left. And also as he approaches the door, we know this, he's also crouched down. So it makes it very difficult to get the perp's height. But when he's walking away, guys, a lot of people think he's about 5'9" to 5'10". But when he's walking away, he's kind of walking on the side. That's how he's walking. Then he's walking up like this. Then he notices, puts his hand on the thing, starts playing with the strap. That's exactly how it went. Guys, stopping by here, UPS driver stopping by. But guys, that's exactly how he did it. That's exactly how it played out for the most part. As he approaches, I'm gonna show you. We're gonna play this out right now. This is exactly how he does it. Comes in from the right, so he comes in and he's already crouched down. Then he notices, but he's already looking at it. You know, he's looking straight for a split moment, but then he's already looking at the ring camera. Then he goes briefly over to the ring camera. And at this point, you can't tell how tall I am with me being right here. You can't tell. As I'm walking away, can you still tell my height? You put the camera down a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. Can you still tell me if you can still tell? I'm 6'4". Can you tell how tall I am when I'm leaning over, or does it make it more difficult for you to see how tall I am? I mean, I think it makes it far more difficult for you to see how tall I am when I'm crouched down and when I'm leaning. Okay, now look. Now you can kind of see how tall I am. At this point, now you can tell I'm tall. But if I'm like this, you can't tell how tall I am. You can't really tell. That's just me though. And then you add the step into the equation, it's 10 times harder. Stage, 100% stage. No doubt about it. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that he needed to make it difficult for you to get his height. He knew they were going to, he made sure he was on camera for at least a moment. No doubt. Had he wanted to make sure he was not on camera, he would have went to the back door. He would have went into the back, just like we believe that he went through the back, and he would have came through that front door. Had he did that, you would have never seen him in the first place. You would have probably had a glimpse, a moment of him, but he made sure he wanted to send a message at that point. No doubt in my mind, this guy wanted to send a message. Because if I don't want to be seen on camera, I'm going to do whatever it takes not to be seen on camera. Period. If I go through that front door and I get the camera from there, you're not even going to ever see me approach the camera. Yeah, and I see some comments saying, "Yeah, but he took the camera." Yeah, I understand that. He did take the camera. He did. He made sure he took all the cameras that he could, from what we heard. But he made sure he made sure he was seen. That's the thing. He made sure. He could have easily did anything else. Not only that, I think the one thing we miss is the fact that he made sure he was quiet. But also, I think he wanted to make sure he did everything he needed to do first before he removed Nancy from her home. People keep saying, well, why didn't he use a butt? Why didn't he just knock it off with his hand? He could have pulled it off. I think I've got enough strength to just pull off a Ring camera, whether I do it right or whether I break it. Most of them come with a pin to release it. But I think for me personally, I would have had no problem at all ripping that thing off. But I think noise was a big thing for this suspect or this perp. It was definitely a factor for sure. He definitely wanted to be quiet. And if you notice the way he's moving, it's quiet. It's quiet movement. It's definitely not tactical, but it's definitely he's moving in a very quiet way. That's what I observed. I think this guy didn't want to be heard at all. Now, breaking the Ring camera with a rock laying around would be definitely possible. Excuse me? I know you guys heard that. Tell me what, if you guys heard that, tell me what that person just told me right now before I say it. They're laughing like it's joking. And that literally kind of, I made me jump out of my shoes a little bit because I was super loud. They said, fuck you, bro. Excuse my language, but I'm going to tell you guys exactly what they said. And I won't say it like that again, but she said, F you, bro, and then laughed. Those are the people that came and walked out down the street down there. They're very loud. Maybe they're drunk. And walked out in the middle of the road, right about there, the tip of my finger, flipped me off, came back out, flipped me off again, and then walked inside. Interesting. I'm sure we've got their plate many, many a times. I know exactly where they live, so it wouldn't really be no need. I'm not gonna lie to you guys at how I would handle that, because I'm a different type of guy, and sometimes I like to let people know what they did was wrong, and you can't just do things that you do to anybody. But personally, for me, if I didn't have as much as respect for the neighborhood that I do, I would probably go knock on that door, ask them what that was all about, and nicely not do that again. There have been many times where I've been flipped off driving in the road, and it hasn't been worth it to even say anything. But sometimes I have my days, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna give them a little word today. We're gonna speak my mind a little bit today. Blue, I find very sometimes. That was the house to the right. So it's just a little bit, it's right next to Sue Ellen's house. You see Sue Ellen's house up there? Right where that car just passed down there. They live right next door. So there's a mailbox. There's a mailbox down the street. Let me see if I could show you guys. We should walk down there. There's a mailbox down the street right there. I'll zoom in on it. That's their mailbox right there. They go out to that mailbox all the time and get mail or whatever. And then they walk back across the street in that yard area. That's the best way I could tell you guys that's where they live at. Maybe we should, yeah, crouch and walk up to the door and knock. Nah, we wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. I'm not even gonna go knock. I'm not even gonna bother them at all. But sometimes people need to hear a piece of your mind. You know, sometimes people need to hear. Sometimes it helps. You know, if you do it right. You know, there is a right and wrong way to do things. Helicopter can't even really see it. My camera's fuzzy. People are crazy, guys. So be careful who you approach and address when you address things, because it won't always work out in your favor, especially if you don't approach the situation right. We're not going down there though. Hopefully, I didn't lose you guys when I walked away from there. So I hope I didn't lose nobody. I'm gonna grab my jacket real quick, guys. So I'll be right back. Bear with me a moment here while I go grab that. See if we can get some light on the site because it's getting dark out here. So I'll get my spotlight out so we can see the memorial site a little bit better. Oh, that looks beautiful. All right, one moment. I'm gonna go get my jacket because I'm getting a little chilly. It's probably to a lot of you guys, it's probably not cold out here to most of you guys, but to me, I get nippy. Trying to fall off of this thing, otherwise my phone is gonna break. See, I'll just take it with me. I'll be right back, folks. Oh, that's beautiful with my light on the. Can actually see it pretty decently. Grab all my stuff so I could sit down. Got to be honest, when I'm out here, when it gets dark like this, I don't usually sit down, so I'm probably not gonna sit down. I'm probably just gonna stand up. I like to just stand up anyways, so I probably won't sit down at all. I'll be standing most of the time. I feel like I'm more on my p's and q's out here when I'm standing and I'm not sitting down. And then you guys keep saying that there's probably a snake out here. So if there is, I don't want a snake to just creep up behind me out here. So I'm just saying, when I'm out here and it gets dark like this, I'm up. I'm up. Just like this. I don't like to sit down at all. I'm not a sit down person for a long period of time anyways, but yeah, when it gets like this out here, I stand up. I definitely don't like to sit down too much. Uh, so let me get the rest of my stuff. I'll be right back. I get nippy. What did I miss, guys? I feel like I missed the chat when you guys were saying that when I was showing you guys how I was crouched. I didn't get a chance to look at the chat, so I apologize. Hey man, thanks a lot, D Long. I appreciate all of the jewels there, as well as Patricia. I don't know what these do. I'm not familiar with those at all, but thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the jewels there. A lot of thumbs up for 10 jewels. I like that. Much love, guys. They yelled at Alex yesterday. He yelled back. No, I mean, I would be honest. Alex was doing the yelling, but the guy was yelling at the people that came. They came out to speak to me. They came out to talk to me, and they wanted to get the they. He just right away started taking pictures of the plate, and then the people got all mad that were here, which I would have too, because I don't think it was necessary for them to just get their plate like that and then tell them that he pretty much told him that he's going to go to jail for parking. But you can't go to jail for parking, guys. It don't work like that. He would probably get a ticket at the very least. But yeah, I don't think that he would have got taken to jail for that. Yeah. But Alex. He made a good point. Good thing he did speak up. Um, I didn't feel comfortable doing that. I'm not gonna lie, but he spoke up. He spoke up, and it was good. And for as far as I know, no sheriffs came out because Alex left right after I did. So it turned out to still be a smooth night. Shout out to that who that was that stopped by yesterday. I didn't get to catch her. I don't remember your name exactly. I know she had emailed me, but I don't recall it right off the bat. But I appreciate anybody who stops by to have a chat. So if you catch me out here, feel free to stop by and let's talk. We can talk about the case all day long, all day long. See if I can get more light on the site there. I think it's cool like this though. I wish I could adjust the light to go a little wider, but I don't think I can. No. Yeah, but I mean that neighbor kind of got what he had that coming, guys. It was not necessary what he did. He could have just easily just kept on going. They weren't going to be here long. There was no need. It was just no need, guys. You guys want to see that again? Oh, it's dark, so it might be a little bit better, right? Hey, Regina, thanks so much for the $5 super chat. I truly appreciate that, Regina. Much love. All right, I'll do that. We'll do one more. I don't have a light though, guys, so it's gonna be tough for you guys to see me. My backpack might even look like the Perps a little bit, but it doesn't have reflectors on it. I think everybody likes me acting this out, huh? I'm not a good actor, guys. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. That's pretty much how it goes. That's pretty much how it goes right there. That's pretty much it. I don't have any strub, so I would have grabbed some strub, but I don't have any strub. But that's kind of a little glimpse of how it pretty much goes. There's no strub out here really. We'll do one more. We'll do one more. I don't have a bite light. How'd I do? The only thing I didn't do was when we grabbed the strub. That's the only part that we missed right there. But it's crazy how repetitive this has been. Like you can't forget it. Like it plays in your head over and over and over and over again. You can't forget it. You cannot forget it. And you can't really see me very good, so I apologize. But yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Pretty much, you know, it's similar, but I know I didn't do it that good, but it's close. Shout out for the $10 super chat there, Heather. Much love. Let me see if I could even see myself on camera. We might need more light. Yeah, it's really dark. But I mean, he came in the night, super when it's super dark. It's pitch black. But again, that camera has that. It has that night vision. So I mean, oh, that looks pretty good though. I mean, that doesn't look bad at all. That was all staged, guys. That was all staged. And check it out. Check this out. Check this out. Let that sink in. What do you see, chat? Someone just said that in the chat, and I looked at the moon, and wow, what do you know? Insane. Full moon. Hey, and the clouds are all, I think it looks like the clouds are moving. Wow, what a sight. Insane. Looks like Halloween. I like that. That's just creepy. That's just creepy. Maybe I need to get out of here. Looks like a face above the moon. What a sight. What a sight. Full moon out in front of Nancy Guthrie's home, guys. And we're out here just hanging out, talking about the case, speculating, giving each other information, sharing theories, acting out what we saw the night Nancy went missing. And the one night we do, it's a full moon. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We're definitely all glued to this case. Judy. Jody says, "Stop it, Juice, you're scaring me." No, we're good, guys. I didn't mean to scare anybody. We're all good. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not letting anybody's actions make me feel like I need to go home, guys. I don't feel like I need to go. I'm just saying it is odd. It's a little weird. I'm good though. I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm just throwing it out there, sharing the thoughts that come to mind. But you know, I'm not worried. I'm good. We're good. We're chilling. We still got a little bit of time here. My ride will probably be on the way pretty soon as well. Practice for my daughter ends about 7:30 or 8 in between that time. So they will be en route soon. So I'll probably be getting out of here about 8, 8:15. So we'll probably be here a good 30 more minutes at the most, if not 40, 45 at the very most. So we'll see. But yeah, guys, it's just really, really odd. And I'll zoom in for you guys one more time. Although it wasn't on the same day, I don't think. It definitely was not. I don't think it was a Wednesday when Nancy went missing. So it was actually on a Sunday, from what I remember. We can look. Let's look. Let's take a look at the calendar. 2026, February 1st. It looks like that took place on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. Sunday at 2 in the morning, around that time. Yeah, and that's part of the timeline. I think that there's a chance that the timeline could be off, but also I think that that timeline could be fairly close as well. Yes, how you getting back your car around? I didn't catch that one. You might want to rewrite that one. I'm sorry. Just with you being on the case and being in front of her house, that is something you should not have to look have looked up. You should have known that right off the bat. Known what right off the bat? Sunflower says the juice, I'm in Cali setting the moon and the sunset, same thing. There's still daylight and moon is out. Crazy. Yeah. Juice, can you check the doorbell? Is it a ring or was it a reflection better to see at night? That might be a good idea. We should go over there because it should be lighting up. Remember, Monk on the interview room said that it lights up like Christmas lights, but a lot of the times a ring camera doesn't light up until it detects motion. I'm gonna be honest. It's not easy to remember every single thing from the timeline from the actual day. I know the date of the day she went missing, but I to remember certain things all the way down to the T, like the actual day of the week. I don't remember every single thing, but I was right before I checked, and it looks to be Sunday. I'll check again just to verify. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe it is. No, it's Sunday. It's no, no. It was Saturday. Saturday. Sorry, my apologies. Saturday. I was wrong. I thought I was right. I was wrong. I was close. I was close. I can't remember everything, guys. I'm not perfect. There's a lot of things that have happened that have been more distinctive in my head than remembering the actual day of. So you can criticize me for it. I don't mind. But it was Saturday. Um, Wanted to show you guys something, but I can't find the picture of it. So I guess never mind to that. But anyway, based on the timeline for what I do remember, um, at 9:48, that's when Nancy was dropped off because that's the time that the garage door opened, and then at 9:50, that's when the garage door closed. I remember that vividly because there's a 2-minute gap in between the time that it opens and the time that it closes. Why the garage door was open for the amount of time that it was, I couldn't tell you. Whether or not the garage door should have been closed sooner or that's the normal time frame a garage door opens, I couldn't tell you. Did Nancy have a conversation with Tommaso briefly before he had took off and dropped her off at home? I want to assume so, but I feel like it should have taken longer than that. If they spoke before she went in, did Tommaso make sure she made it inside safely, but not just inside, made it to her bed or wherever she was going to sit? I couldn't tell you. But the fact that she has a hard time getting to the mailbox and that only happens on a good day, For me, I would make sure that she made it into the house safely, not just through the garage, through the door of that goes into the house safely. A lot of us don't believe the timeline. A lot of us do. It's questionable. I don't know how accurate it is, but based on the timeline, there are some things that are factual because they were able to get that information from that garage door, at least from the time that it opened and closed. The doorbell camera disconnected around 1:47 a.m. And that, you know, could be close based around the timeline. But then at 2:12, it says that it detects a person on camera. Now, somebody made a comment yesterday. The reason why I'm bringing this up because I saw a comment yesterday and someone said, "Should that be switched around? Why is that like that the way it is? Shouldn't it be the software detects a person and then the doorbell camera disconnects?" I thought that was interesting that they brought that to my attention because that does sound like that should be switched around. I could agree. Someone says yes Sunday. That was Sunday morning, February 1st. Well, if you look at the calendar, February 1st is a Saturday. But when you add, 2 a.m. to the factor, now if it's 2 a.m., then it would be February 2nd. Maybe I'm wrong, but February 1st to me on my calendar is showing Saturday. It's showing to me that February 2nd was a Sunday, but I could be looking at the wrong. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I apologize. That's my fault. I'm looking at, oh, okay, okay, okay. I'm looking at 2025. Wrong thing. My bad. You're right. Sunday it is. February 1st was a Sunday. So I was right. I was right initially. I'm throwing my own self off looking at my dang phone. So it was Sunday. It was Sunday. So there's the calendar. And it was Sunday. So anyways, the day I'm not really too crazy about the exact day or as far as remembering the day. Not only that, it's just a lot that's been going on. So as long as you know that Nancy went missing on February 1st, anyone can do the math from there. So we're gonna walk over here real quick. I want to see if the ring camera is lighting up because somebody said that. That was a good idea to go over here and check. No, nothing. Yeah, so it doesn't. The ring cameras don't light up until you approach it. You guys probably can't really see much from where I'm looking. I think I just got a phone call out of nowhere. I got to replace these batteries because they're definitely not working as good. But we all get spun up, guys. If you guys watch a lot of people talking about the case, unless you're looking at a sheet or a paper in front of you, we all get spun up on remembering days and things like that. So even the best of the best do it. I see it all the time. I can't really see the door camera for you guys. Oh, there we go. So there's a shot of the door, but you can't. You as you can see, you can't see. You can see, but you can't. There's it's not lighting up. There's no. There is a ring camera though there, I believe, from what I saw earlier, but there's no light at all on the ring camera. So that's that. But no light, unfortunately. Man, pitch black. Jesus. I can't even tell if my camera's zoomed out or not. Let me zoom it out. All right, we're gonna move back over to the memorial site. Nothing happened today. No updates yet. We're hoping for one soon, though. All right, I think I'm gonna move my light to set up a better lighting around the memorial site. Otherwise, you guys aren't gonna really get a good lighting around the memorial site. February 1st was day one. We all know that. And like you guys are saying in the chat, that's why it's good to have you guys here because you guys can refresh my memory when I have brain farts like that, or when I just don't remember. You guys refresh my memory. So yeah, that is the day. And also it was on a Sunday. You guys are 100% correct. A lot of people keep saying JLR is heading back. All right, give me a second, guys. I gotta set this light up. Not the best lighting. I don't like that right there. Well, actually, it's not bad. Can't really see the Nancy sign though. Yeah, we might can move closer a little bit too. Hey, much love to that side. I appreciate that, by the way. The juice is right behind them gaining ground. I didn't catch that, Linda. I'm trying to catch up in chat. What about the guy with the dog? He seemed very sus. The guy you're talking about earlier that passed by, that guy is not he's not the suspect at all. He's no. My light isn't the best because I got to get batteries for it. I'll make sure I do that tomorrow. But my light is not all that great. But hopefully you guys are able to see the site a little bit better. I'm working on getting some more lights, so we'll be good eventually if we're here out here that much longer. You know what I've noticed? There hasn't been a car pass by in a while. Every time I take notice of that, it makes me realize how easy it is to just come in here and do what the perp did. Because it just reminds me that there's really no one around, hardly ever, especially around this time. And it's not even late yet. It's only what 8 o'clock. So, is it Sabin or Saban? Hey, I appreciate you as well. Thanks a lot. J. Mary says, I wouldn't be surprised if the family has hired their own private investigator and has private security watching the house too. That's my opinion. Yeah. And your opinion could be right. Although I haven't seen any private investigators in the area, um, not to say that private investigator, can't be a sheriff, but I've yet to see that in the area at all. Kimberly, thanks so much for the $20 super chat. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you guys all for the super chats tonight, man. You guys are insane, man. You guys rock, man. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. But most importantly, thank you guys for being here with me. I truly appreciate everybody's company. I always do. You guys make this what it is. And, you guys motivate me to continue doing what I'm doing. And I really couldn't do this without you guys. Seriously. Trying to pull up the super chat there so I can heart it. Man, it looks great for you guys. It looks okay. It's just not really all that easy to see. Got a car coming by finally. That's just how long it takes for a car to come by. Now they did that on purpose. I put my flashlight on so to make sure that they could see me here, and literally he still tries to act like he didn't see me. N- did you guys see how close he got? It's all good. It's cool. It's dark. I'm out here. Maybe they weren't paying attention. It's okay. Made my camera fall down because I had to move because he was getting pretty close. We were talking about the timeline. I'm not too sure where I left off, but we were talking about the timeline when it came to at one point in time that it was disconnected, and I was saying that somebody had mentioned whether or not it should have been switched around because the doorbell camera disconnected at 147, but then at 212, software detects a person on the camera. Should that have been switched around, guys? You need vest that glows. Yeah, I had somebody purchase me a glow vest that glows on Amazon wish list. She said something about it not being here. She didn't know how long it was going to take. Maybe I'll reach out and ask her um, if that has arrived at all. I was not trying to bother her at all though, so I didn't really want to reach out to see. I did put a vest on there that reflects as well, so hopefully when I do have those, it helps. If by the time I get them, we're still out here. Get some neon glow sticks. That'd be a good idea. Janny says go by Dollar Tree and get some glow sticks. They also disrupt the spiritual energy we had going on. We had going. Effing pisses me off. Gin and juice. We're all feeling the moon's spiritual energy. It really did kind of mess up the mood a little bit. It always does, though, when we're getting interrupted by somebody just doing something foolish. Thank you for keeping Nancy's name alive, says Candy, Andrea Clark. Much love, Candy. Indeed. Thanks for the $10 super chat there as well. January 31st, February 1st, look dates, January 11th. Not too sure what you were getting at, though. But we will be wearing a reflective vest sooner or later. It's a matter of time. No kids are in school? No. I keep getting these like stickers in my arm. It's kind of weird. But yeah, we'll consider it, guys. But what do y'all think about the timeline? Maybe I'll pull up a picture for you guys. There's also something in the timeline now. If you look at the timeline now, there's also something in the timeline that wasn't there before. And if you go look at if you go look it up, there's in the timeline it says at 5:32 Nancy it says she travels to local family's house. So it seems to me they think that they've got the timeline of the time that she went to her family member's house. So the timeline has been updated since it first was initially released. But I do want to remind you guys not to get too caught up in the timeline because it could be off. It definitely, we know for sure the timeline isn't 100% accurate, but there are some things on the timeline that are correct. The 911 call was at 12:03 in the afternoon on February 1st to Pima County Sheriff's Department. The patrol arrived 12 minutes after the call. 12 minutes from the time that the 911 call was made, they arrived. We all want to hear the call. I understand that. That's one thing that we hope we'll get eventually. Yeah, Monk mentioned it the other day in the interview room that he would like to hear that interview call. Wouldn't I'm sorry, not the police call, the Uber driver. He would like to know what the Uber driver maybe said, what he saw, anything. All right, we got 2 cars coming this way. I'm just trying to make sure I move back this time, maybe. Because cars are rolling through here fast. Got somebody pulling up on me. I think my ride's here. Uh, maybe not. Yeah, I know I heard that Uber driver talk to authorities for sure. Yeah, I remember that Blue Cascade says Juice. They're on to an Uber driver one day, and then TMZ changes up completely the next day. Yeah, I remember. I recall. anyways, guys, that's going to do it for me here. My ride has just arrived. I want to shout everybody out for tuning in tonight. I want to thank everybody for the super chats and liking the stream, uh, as well as subscribing to the channel. I hope everybody has a good, safe night, just like myself. Um, Tune in with me on Friday. We'll be back out here at Nancy's on Friday. Come check me out Friday. Um, I may take live at home tomorrow night, but again, it's my girlfriend's birthday, so we probably won't go live tomorrow. And we probably won't be here either unless something changes. But tune in, guys, tune in. Thank you guys all for being here. Thank you guys all for helping me keep that public awareness out there, and helping me continue to cover this case. Much love, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Y'all be safe. Have a good night. I'll keep it rolling until I roll out of the neighborhood. But until next time, guys. Think so. I get this tripod put away. Bring Nancy home. Bring Nancy home. We ain't giving up. We won't give up. Secret, guys. I haven't been going. I've been needing to go pee for the past 2 hours. So thankfully, my ride came because wasn't sure if I was gonna make it. Jesus. Sunflower says, "Happy birthday, Miss Juice."
Thank
Yeah. She says, "Thank you, guys." You can call her Juicita.
you. Stupid. That's cute.
Joking, joking. They're all saying, "Happy birthday, Mama Juice." Can I go out this way?
Last night.
What?
Gotta go over.
Can I go out that way? Oh, I can't remember what street it is. I always forget. Happy birthday, Juicita. Hey, good night, all guys. Much love. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. Sue says happy birthday. It's mine too. Nice. Siggy, much love. Thank you. Blessings sent to Juice and Fam. Man, I think, is it Lily that reminded me last time for the seatbelt? Yeah, thanks a lot, love. Man, Nancy's neighborhood is a whole maze. Perp definitely knew his way out, for sure. If not, he used GPS, yeah, for sure. But I think he knew. Yeah, he's been in and out already several times, so he knew exactly which way he wanted to go, for sure. Lily says, good memory. Yeah, I remember. I think you told me that the other night. Seatbelt. Thanks for the reminder again. I do that a lot too. Much love, guys. I'll catch y'all in the next one, guys. I appreciate y'all. I'm out of here. Indeed, I will do that before they take it all away. We'll keep as much hope going as we can. We're still going to come around. We may not hang out in front of the house, but we'll still be around the neighborhood. We'll find out something to do somehow, some way. Much love, guys. I'm out though.